hello.
Hello.
So can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Cornelius is a deputy head
Perfect.
of business development of OHB system. Is one of the large system integrators, which ensures entire scope of space application in telecommunication, Earth observation, reconnaissance, navigation, and security. Cornelius will talk about a mindset, what it takes to join the space industry and to become a partner of the large system integrator. Please, Cornelius, the stage is yours.
Yes, hello. Thank you very much for the kind introduction. Greetings to all of my colleagues in the room, to Riga. You know, Bremen and Latvia have traditionally a very nice working together relationship since many, many years. But of course, as also my colleague, I think from Thales Alenia Space previously said, it's all about cooperation in Europe. I mean, also, if you're looking at OHB, I mean, the founder and family Fuchs, in the second generation now is operating the company, owning and operating the company. They also have Italian passports, but of course, within our company, we are as multinational as anybody, being in the space business as ESA and other players with, I don't know, almost 40 nations working together. So it's all about cooperation. But today, of course, we will have a focus. Let's say from our side, from the large system integrators. Of course, I can only speak for OHB and with the Baltic states, especially with Latvia. So my idea is just to walk you a little bit on some issues, and there is a nice presentation here, the company presentation, which I would skip because this is more for looking up for you later and just giving a visual impression that there is a lot of possibilities, of course, to cooperate. And then it is more to find out how to do it best, also how to benefit from certain ESA programs, which are already in place, and how we could develop it into the future, and maybe even how we can then adapt also to new business and to new space. So here I will, let me see if it works. I'm taking the next slide. It works, perfect, thank you. So the idea is, well, in Europe, we are 3 primes, but we are, of course, we have multiple corporate. Excuse me, I have some background noise. Somebody's talking there. Sorry. Okay. So we are 3 primes in Europe, so in alphabetical order, Airbus, OHB, and Thales Alenia Space. But of course, there are multiple opportunities to cooperate with us. So of course, I can only talk for OHB, so I will give some example. And the critical part that I think everybody should look at, of course, is at the supply chain, because this is the important let's say, door of entry on how to cooperate with us in the future. And maybe we can discuss a little bit on how to make this happen. This could be rather a dialogue than only a presentation from myself. So I will run a little bit through the company issue so that you understand a little bit who we are, but only in a very rough sense. So we meanwhile have about almost 3,000 people working throughout Europe, headquarters in Bremen. In Germany, we are located in Bremen here, what you see on the image, and also in Oberpfaffenhofen near Munich. We have MT Aerospace in our group, more on the launcher business, but also in new space with the Rocket Factory Augsburg. So this is the part which is German, and there are others as well. Maybe I can just look a little bit ahead of what to show. So maybe you cannot read it all, but it's just to show you that a couple of companies which are organized in a special way, where we are looking at space systems on the left side. So we have OHB system as the flagship, so-called prime, but also we have then companies in Italy, in Luxembourg, in Belgium, in Greece, and so on. Similar for aerospace, which is MT Aerospace I mentioned, but we're also getting more into the downstream sector as well. So this is also something that might be interesting if we are looking at future corporations. The company now is an outstanding company in Bremen, OHB Digital Connect, with some daughter companies working together. So it's not so important in this case that it's Germany or which country. It's more the opportunity in Europe, because we can all nicely work together in Europe on various projects. So I will, as I said, just skip most of the slides, only make some short explanations. So again, as you can see on the left page and also on the right, this is a family business still. It's now in the second generation with Marco Fuchs at the helm. And so let's see how it continues. The younger guys are already preparing in a sense, so with their studies and so on. So there seems to be quite a good continuity within the group. We are at the stock market, but 70% of the shares, more than 70%, are held by the family itself. So this really is a family business intended to stay like that. On the other thing, so what we are doing, I mean, it's very clear if you are a so-called large system integrator, you're almost involved in everything. So this is basically what this shows there. There's nothing where we say we are not active. Just to give you some examples, we are together with Thales Alenia Space as a prime involved in the MTG project, which is a very nice project. We provide all the 6 platforms and 2 of the instruments, a total of 6. So this is really a great instrument, which will be operated and owned by EUMETSAT for really enhancing research and also the everyday operational data on meteorology. So this is quite an important mission for EUMETSAT, of course. And of course, Earth observation is the other big issue where we are heavily involved, which of course nowadays is quite important in reconnaissance from our experience with radar, highest resolution radar satellites. This is a system we operate for the German armed forces. And there will be some follow-ups on that one as well. So I will just click you through this. But of course, you know, we are doing the first generation of the Galileo satellites. They are nicely working today. So we are getting really used to it, that there's not only GPS around, we have the other things as well. And of course, we get into the other domains like telecommunications, also quite important for us. We developed together with our partners in Europe within the Artis 11 program, a very nice program with ESA, a small geostationary platform where we are now able to have some missions already going on, like the Hispasat mission, like EDRS for the Copernicus data transmission. So there's a lot of things already there and something in the queue that will be done. And of course, we are also quite, like Heinrich Hertz is a national telecommunications mission here for Germany. But again, this is all a quite international business, what we are looking at. And also, of course, we are quite proud that we have been successful in winning the Plato mission to look for atmospheres around planets outside of the solar system. So it's a very exciting thing, of course, for astronomy here. And so there's a lot. The portfolio is quite nice, and but of course we have to see how the future goes, and that is the important part, I think, also of the meeting today. How can we optimize cooperation? How can we make sure that we also, as the large system integrator, stay ahead of things, because we have competition. Competition, of course, you know, fair competition is good for everybody. But of course, we need also to do something on that. Otherwise, we are dead after 5 or 10 years. And by getting new ideas, by cooperation, this is just the part which gives us the innovation that we so desperately need. And of course, there are other things to work together and to cooperate. But of course, the innovative part, the technology part, especially in the new space part, is very important to us. So let me just go ahead a little bit with the presentation. So this you can look up later on. This is not so relevant at the moment, just to give you the overview in images, what I told you before, what our companies are involved in. And of course, they all have subcontractors and or are a subcontractor to others. So this is the normal thing in the space world. What we added is more the downstream sector, and that is really something where we believe this is growing business. So also for OHB, but growing business for everybody in Europe. And let me see, that should come, I hope now, because it goes more in the way of how we can, developing a micro launcher, of course, it's exciting business. But what we have to look is really now, what is the best way to cooperate? So those of you who know us already, worked with us, who worked with others, they know how to do it. In general, of course, it's first of all the idea we need to come to know each other. And I mean, just to know somebody is always the best thing to do. So in my case, I'm responsible now with the key account, especially for new markets, for what we call innovative business, and the so-called small European countries. In the ESA definition, small is everything outside the big four, so almost everybody. And so it's a very relevant domain here where we have to look at, because we are looking at innovation, we are looking at new solutions. And of course, it also depends on how a country like Latvia defines its future path into these domains. Of course, it a little bit also depends on the policies. It depends on which programs Latvia would like to focus funding, so that there can be a successful development of relevant companies. So this is something, of course, which we can only clarify in a dialogue. But of course, at some point, we need to start. So point of contact, if you know nobody in OHB, it's me for you. It's very easy. And to make sure that, because we need this information from your companies, that we can enter basically your information in our database, in our supply chain database, just to make sure who you are, what your capabilities are, and of course, what type of readiness, because it's very normal on those new developments we are looking at, that you need to prepare. We also need to prepare. So just to give you an example, some of you might already know, if we take, for example, a GSTP program, just to develop some new technologies, some new processes, whatever you would like to do, we could support you, but that does not necessarily mean that we must act as a subcontractor to you. So we need not even show up really, because the story in the end is that you are doing something. ESA will ask you why you want to do it, and you can say, yes, we're doing it because OHB is interested in it. So we may be looking at things, we may be supporting you later on some issues, and then you will go the way up the TRL stair stairway to improve things, to make things space ready, so that at some stage your technology can be included in our missions, on our downstream assets, whatever that is. So it may take, and that is something that companies that are new in space may always have to realize. It is nothing where you can already start full speed tomorrow. This is something you have to start, but sometimes it really takes time. It may even take years to get to a certain maturity. Hopefully with what we now all call the new space, things will be getting faster in that respect, so that there will be, because there is also the need for some certain readiness, because that means the competitive edge in the end, when you will be able to put things up, and certain competitive edges are necessary anyway. So, but it will definitely mean we have to look at that also very carefully. And this to me is like an open book, yeah, where we're turning new pages every day. We're learning new things. We are doing things in a very different way. And even if we think we know everybody in the space community, we always get surprises to see there are companies, either new companies we have never seen before, because they are now turning to space, to applications upstream or downstream, or companies that we thought we know very well are changing, improving well their portfolio and coming with new offerings, which will also be very relevant to us. So in that respect, the best thing is we have to start at some point to talk, and then we have to see how we make things happen. Of course, there is a very good support by ESA through the various programs that you also have through the stages on entering ESA as a member state, which you know very well. We heard mentioning the PEX programs. Associate membership is a nice feature, and there are other things as well. So even before a state will become a full member state, there are already a lot of opportunities to cooperate, and which are also encouraged by ESA for cooperation. Of course, we are also looking to that. With that, I would like to conclude my presentation now, because I think it's more important that we could continue, if you like, with discussion, and also maybe with your, I'm ready for your questions now. So thank you very much for your patience. And again, thank you also to the organizers for this nice meeting. So thank you.
Thank you very much. It was a very interesting presentation. Do we have questions from the audience? Hands? I have one. I hope that Mr. Schalinski can hear me. So what is the TRL level when Latvian space technologies representatives could approach you as a large system integrator and start to collaborate? There is some specific procedure for that?
Yes and no. I mean, what I would like to promote here is start with talking to us anytime, because we are looking, of course, we are looking at the very high TRL levels in the end, because we want to be in space, we want to do all the applications. But at some point we have to start, and we have to look into the future, we have to prepare for the future. So of course, if you want to participate in certain projects, say the next Earth observation mission, where we go into competition or something, you need quite a high TRL level in order to be able to join us. There may be some advantages depending on the membership state, where certain technologies it might be possible to develop them in parallel. So even if it would not be for some reason available for the launch of the mission, the development would be assured by ESA. So I would just say, just join us, and then we look basically at the roadmap, what will happen when, and then of course you can see yourself what is the best way to you. So of course we cannot speed that up, but there is no certain TRL where we would say, if you don't have that level, do not come to us. No, not at all.
Thank you very much, and we hope that next time we will see you here next year in Latvia. Big applause for Mr. Schalinski. And now